Good evening and welcome to the Hamilton County Commission staff meeting. We are excited to be here on April the 16th, 2024. And we're going to start off by having everyone introduce themselves on the dais.
Christy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, Commissioner.
Good evening. I'm County Commissioner Denise Driehaus.
Jeff Valuto, County Administrator.
And I'm Hamilton County Commission President Alicia Reese. We're excited today to have our Hamilton County Commission on Women and Girls report. And I'm going to ask Mary Maui to come forward. We do have some presentations. Would you like to say something before? Yeah. So we're going to kick it off before. So I'll turn to Vice President Driehaus. This is one of her initiatives when she first was elected. So I'd like for you to lead us off.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you all for being here. This is an exciting night, especially for this part of the room, probably also for this part of the room, because this group has been meeting since August in preparation for tonight, to bring forward recommendations that are meaningful, that are impactful, that have been worked on by every single person sitting on the side of the room, the women and the girls. And so thanks to all of you for putting in the time and effort to get us to where we are tonight. Really, really appreciate it, and appreciate the family support for those of you, especially the family members of the girls. So Mary Maui is the Director of the Commission on Women and Girls. She is the organizer of all things, and is the other reason we're here tonight. We could not have gotten to this point without all of her organization and her passion for what it's a passion project for what we're doing here tonight. So thanks to you, Mary. So we've got some important recommendations that are coming forward. The commissioners will make the recommendations, and then we have the formal resolutions in front of us. We will hold on to those until after the presentation is made, and then get to the resolutions at the end of the meeting. So, Commissioner, that's all I have by way of introduction.
Thank you. I will open it up for Commissioner Dumas. Would you like to say something?
Thank you so much. Good evening. This is a wonderful evening. When we had our pay equity press conference, I said women are on fire, and they continue to be on fire. So I just say get on the train or you will get ran over. So I'm just so proud of all of you, and this is just enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to welcome all of you. The room is getting more filled every year. And one of the things I do want to say is a lot of times people have committees and commissions, and it sits on a shelf. I've been in this for 20 years in various positions. But what I like about this is that it's not sat on the shelf. We are actually getting things done, implementing your ideas, taking action, and really being a leader, not only in Ohio, but across the country. So we, as a board, also take this very seriously, where we have now a full-time, Mary Maui is now full-time dealing with the Women and Girls Commission. So with that, I would like to have her come up at this time. I think, what was it, last week they were signing pay equity, and this week we're doing our report. So welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, commissioners, and thank you to everyone who came today. This has been just yet another exciting year for the Commission on Women and Girls. I have been with the commission for 2 years now, and it's just been a privilege and an honor to serve in this way and to get to be around all of these inspiring women and girls in our community who dedicate their time and their effort to all of the causes that are affecting women and girls in our community. So with that, we'll get started. So for those of you who may not know, I wanted to give a little bit of background about what the commission is. So first of all, the Commission on Women and Girls was started in 2017 by Commissioner Driehaus, who at the time was campaigning and certainly was hearing from her constituents that there was not a voice for women and girls in Hamilton County when it came to policymaking and at the county level. And so she took it upon herself to start this commission and found it. And as the first female commissioner, was able to do that with the support of her two other commissioners at the time, Todd Portune and Chris Monzel. But certainly it has been with the support of the current commissioners that we've been able to do so well. So thank you again for all the continued support of this commission. And the commission has 4 objectives. Really, it's to provide recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners, to promote women and girls to seek leadership positions and develop their leadership skills, to create community partnerships, and to develop public information and education campaigns. The commission is made up, by the way, of 20 women and 10 high school girls. We are the only commission in Hamilton County that has this large of a representation of youth on it. And as you'll hear later today, we're hoping to change that. But certainly we are very proud of that. And I think you'll be just as proud as we are. But we have 4 committees where the work has been in these buckets of pay equity, health and self-identity, safety, and social mobility. These buckets of work started at the beginning of the commission, starting in 2017. Each year they're reevaluated by the current commission members to see if this is something that they feel still represents what are the needs and the biggest pressing issues, or whether those need to be updated. And sadly, we have continued with those buckets of work because, as you know, change is slow. And so we continue to put forward recommendations that address those 4 buckets of work. And with that, I'd like to welcome our Pay Equity Committee to give their presentation first.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having us tonight. I am Annabelle Meyer, and I am one of the high school representatives out of Madeira High School. And on behalf of the Pay Equity Committee, I would like to introduce my other members who have been instrumental in the changes that we're putting forth today. So this is Catherine Barron from St. Ursula Academy. Morgan Lumpkins could not be here, but she is from Clark Montessori. And for our women representatives, we have Kelsey Goins from the University of Cincinnati, Yolanda Scherer of Hightower Petroleum, and Annalise Cahill of DSD Advisors. So over the past year, we have researched the current climate of pay equity, which has unfortunately remained about the same as it did over 20 years ago in 2002. Data from 2022 found that women in the U.S. made an average of 83 cents for every dollar earned by a white man. Women of historically underrepresented groups were found to have earned even less, with African American women earning 63 cents per dollar and Hispanic women at 58 cents per dollar. These discrepancies persist even as women are pursuing and completing higher education to a larger degree than their male counterparts, with women averaging of 48% of bachelor's degrees and men with 41%, meaning women on average are more educated than men but are still paid less. Striving for equal pay also has a significant impact on the overall rate of impoverished women in our community. Ohio currently ranks 29th nationally for the percentage of women in poverty. Now, this percentage could nearly be cut in half if equal pay practices were implemented, according to the Institute on Women's Policy Research. A phenomenon that is frequently cited in discussions surrounding the gender pay gap in the U.S. is known as the confidence gap. The confidence gap underscores the disparities in self-assurance and assertiveness between men and women in professional settings. Lack of confidence leads fewer women to initiate salary negotiations at 4 times less than men. And when they do ask for salary increases, it is at a 30% less than compared to that of men, heightening pay discrepancies.
The Pay Equity Signing Day is a way our committee reaches out to companies, corporations, and nonprofits in the greater Cincinnati area. As of April 9th, 2024, 120 employers have signed the Pay Equity Commitment and have joined the fight of combating pay inequality in Hamilton County. As this day Started as just an idea on the 2019 commission, we stand here today and witness the evolution of the signing day and the impact it has made the past 6 years. This proves that Hamilton County is ready to challenge the social norms and bar the progress that has made pay equity a standard. As a committee, we do not want to stop here, but we want to continue this growth and change. We call on future commissions to work on signing over 200 employers on all of Hamilton County's Fortune 500 companies over the next 5 years.
So in response to the work of the Pay Equity Committee over this past year, we asked 3 things of the county commissioners and county administration today. The first is that the county expand the pay equity commitment by adding a toolkit for employers. And we also ask that this expansion consider and includes tips on reducing the confidence gap that Annie referred to earlier. And we hope this will ease barriers to the pay equity practices, ease barriers perhaps to the corporations, organizations, government entities, et cetera, to better pay equity practices for all, big and small. The second is that we also ask the county to support the continuation of the Pay Equity Signing Day, especially during Women's History Month specifically, to allow the county and Commission on Women and Girls to expand the coalition of allies in the pay equity space locally. The third is that we ask the commissioners to direct the administration to conduct a pay equity analysis of the county biannually to ensure that the county is attuned to any active discrepancies that exist following their signing of the commitment so that they can correct them with efficiency. We thank you for your consideration of our recommendations in support of the commission, and I'm going to hand it back to Annie now, who will close us out.
After reviewing everything, addressing pay equity is not merely a matter of fairness. It is a fundamental step towards building a more just and prosperous society. By closing the gender wage gap and ensuring equitable compensation for all individuals, regardless of gender, we are able to promote economic stability and growth and foster workplace culture that values diversity, inclusion, and meritocracy. Pay equity is essential for bolstering employee morale, enhancing productivity, and attracting and maintaining top talent. Moreover, it sends a powerful message about commitment to upholding basic principles of equality and fairness in the labor market. As we strive towards a future where every individual has equal opportunities and receives fair compensation for their contributions, addressing pay equity must remain a top priority for businesses and policymakers alike. And we hope that with our recommendations, Hamilton County can be that model that the world can follow. Thank you.
Well, if that doesn't inspire you, I'm not sure what does. But thank you so much to our Pay Equity Committee. I'd like to introduce our Social Mobility and Stability Committee. They can come up. So when you want to advance slides, you're going to hit.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Alex McDonald, and I'm here on behalf of the Social Mobility Committee. I would like to take a moment to introduce the rest of the committee members. Awa Ba, Randy Davis, Anita Eshelman, Lisa Kwan, Centoria McConnell, Moira Weir, and Samantha Kane. Our initiative is social and economic advancement through educational awareness and opportunity. Our committee chose to focus on connecting girls with pathways to upward mobility. We would like to start with providing information on the status of women and girls educationally and economically. 17.3% of women in Hamilton County live below poverty levels. 84.6% of individuals aged 18 to 24 in Hamilton County have not attained a bachelor's degree or higher. And when we look at the people in Hamilton County aged 25 and older, the percentage of adults who have earned their degree only increases from 15.4% to 40%. We think it is significant that less than half of the people in our county have a bachelor's degree. Many careers that offer upward mobility to those who have not attained a bachelor's degree or higher have low representations of women. To provide an example, in Cincinnati, women make up 49% of the workforce, but only 27% of the manufacturing workforce. Despite this demographic challenge, the Cincinnati region has experienced consistent employment over the last 5 years. Unemployment has remained consistently below 4% since 2021, indicating a positive economic trajectory. This emphasizes the importance of strategies to attract more individuals in the prime working age group into these fields. Girls in the county have minimal access to internships and career development programs with a focus on industries with low female representation. I will now hand this over to Anita Eshelman. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. As Alex noted, the research shows that less than 50% of the local population aged 25 or older has earned a bachelor's degree or higher. This is really significant when we look at those career fields that do require advanced education. So our committee really wants to highlight STEM fields and the representation of women. STEM careers are consistently growing, not only locally, but also nationally. And as we know that employment in the Cincinnati area, we have many more opportunities, as she just explained. We want to highlight where we are right now. So this graph is from 1970 to 2020, the percentage of women in STEM careers. So I want to point out that black line. If you notice, from 7% to 26% in 50 years, when we look at the all STEM fields, that's all the growth that we've made. So this shows us that we really need to highlight those opportunities for our young girls, give them experiences in these types of careers, give them the opportunities to learn the skills that they may need to be successful in this type of environment. So based on our research, our interviews with local schools, local students, and businesses, our committee has 4 recommendations. First, we ask that the commission become a model for other local employers by increasing opportunities for youth to work, intern, and participate in job shadowing programs within county offices. We ask that you look into existing online portals that are already established that connect students and districts with these types of businesses. So the businesses can post all of their opportunities, and then students, while they're in school, can research and look at everything that's out there to see what it is that they would like to intern in, where would they like to job shadow, where might there be something that they could experience, and then be able to go and do that. And we also ask that you encourage other businesses to follow your model with a focus on connecting girls to those industries with low representation of women. Next, we ask that the Board of the Commissioners consider and advise which boards would also be appropriate for adding youth representatives. We've found a lot of success on our commission to having these amazing youth as part of our community, as part of our board, and we ask that you look at the other boards that might that might work well for that as well, and advise them to include youth. Third, we ask that you support and expand the already great work being done by the Office of Youth, the City of Cincinnati, and external partners in opening more opportunities for internships, job shadowing, and all of these things to reduce barriers to being successful in the future. Our final recommendation is about transportation. Through our research, through our conversations with businesses and organizations that are creating events for youth to have leadership opportunities, for youth to have internship opportunities, when we talked with students and when we talked with schools, we learned that transportation can be a barrier. A school might be on one side of the county, the opportunity on another. And so we ask that you work with SORTA to reduce this barrier by providing bus passes to youth who are traveling to these types of authorized events. And that is all. We thank you so much for your time and ask if you have any questions.
I think we're going to go through all of them, and so thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you so much. Up next is our Safety Committee. They can come up. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to listen to our research and our recommendations. My name is Eleanor Driehaus, and I represent the Safety Committee of the Hamilton County Commission on Women and Girls. Standing with me are the other committee members, Courtney Harshaway, Natasha Cohen, and Melissa Davis. We've come out tonight to share our initiative with you, the adoption of a comprehensive approach to prevent girls from juvenile delinquency in Hamilton County. We recognize that the juvenile court system has been based on a ratio of girls to boys that is typically skewed to more men in the juvenile delinquent system. However, with a rising ratio of girls in the system, there is a new need to represent specific nuanced issues that girls experience with the system to best support them. Through our research with specific Hawaii court systems that we call Girls Court, we've seen the impacts that these integrations have had on the communities, as you can see with the trauma-informed responses. Trauma-informed responses help us to decrease recidivism rates and to empower women without shaming them for their past crimes.
Thank you, Ella. So thinking about these programs that we researched over the past year, one of the pieces, really recognizing what is the impact of something like a girls' court or the initiatives that we are proposing. So out of the things that we discovered were improved outcomes, so that can come in the form of reduced rearrest rates and less detention time. It can also come in the form of enhanced collaboration, so approaching the juvenile justice system from a more proactive method that builds a stronger relationship with girls in the system. A lot of these girls' courts will build up teams that are fully female and offer tailored support to those girls that help break that cycle of juvenile delinquency. And then lastly, that positive community impact. So again, having girls out in the community, building more of that strong relationship that can break that cycle and lead to reduced incarceration rates over time. So again, another aspect of our initiative that we're hoping to see is that enhancement of wraparound services for girls who are in the juvenile justice system. So as Ella mentioned, a lot of these programs really take on that trauma-informed approach. And I think it's important to recognize that a lot of girls who are involved in the juvenile justice system are lower risk, but have those higher needs. We know that girls in the juvenile justice system may have more diagnosable mental health issues than juvenilely involved boys. And so recognizing things like PTSD or recognizing sexual exploitation and how trauma can impact girls and how they navigate the system is so important. And again, this can come in the form of services as far as creating case management for girls, peer mentorship, therapy, different opportunities like that that really address those needs. Again, recognizing the gender-specific barriers that girls face, like pregnancy, trauma, is really, really important. And then also promoting that equity and inclusion piece. So we do see that youth of color and girls of color are more often involved in the system, and we want to be able to tackle those disparities and recognize that and create a system that is inclusive for all girls and services that recognize those things and can create a more cultural response to their needs. So our recommendations to the commissioners tonight is the support of the Hamilton County Juvenile Court and the creation of a specialized girls' court that focuses on preventing and diverting girls from entering or continuing in the juvenile justice system by providing support, including counseling, educational assistance, vocational training, and peer mentorship programming. Our second recommendation includes the expansion of key partnerships with community organizations connected to the juvenile court system to strengthen wraparound services designed specifically for girls who are currently involved in the criminal justice system. And we thank you for your time.
Thank you once again. I would be remiss if I did not call out some of our partners who are in the room today who have worked very closely with us on this initiative and providing us with not only information but collaboration through this process. So I'd like to recognize Juvenile Court, who's here, and our representatives, Administrator Judge Carrie Bloom. So thank you so much for attending. As well as our Hamilton County Public Defender's Office. We have representatives from there who've also been really instrumental in helping us better understand this issue so that we could put a recommendation forward. So thank you so much.
Can I ask for Judge Bloom, over Juvenile Court, I know there's a recommendation here. I just want to give you a moment if you want to come up and say something. Since you run the whole juvenile court.
So Let me, by way of introduction, say that Judge Bloom came to one of the meetings of the Commission on Women and Girls because we knew where the suggestions were going, the recommendations were going, and we wanted to have better informed decisions by the Commission on Women and Girls without overstepping by way of JV Court. So Judge Bloom was very generous with her time on a Saturday morning to come and talk to us about her response to some of the things that were being kicked around with the Commission.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you to the girls, primarily the girls, but also the women, for involving me in this project. It's very meaningful to both the court and to everyone who lives in Hamilton County. So by way of introduction on the court's view and interaction and welcoming of this project is that we know in the justice field, we'll say, both adults and kids, that men and boys, primarily black men and boys, have been the focus of how do we end recidivism, how do we keep people safer, how do we have crime stop being committed, and we don't all agree on what those things mean, but I can tell you that everyone agrees that we've primarily focused on men and boys. And that's not to anyone's fault, but I will tell you that now we know that girls and women can carry so much more with them and still be fine on the outside and still be relatively successful and still go home and put their children to bed at night or go home and be a child who goes to bed and then goes to school the next day. What we don't realize is that they're encountering a lot of the same issues and problems that their male counterparts are. They're just reacting differently. And so what we see is that girls have more trouble at school and girls have more trouble at home. We might see domestic violence. We might see getting kicked out of school. Those are the symptoms of the issues that are happening inside girls. And the court is not as well equipped to deal with that as we should be and as we could be. And so when we were approached by the commission, we rounded up, we invited all kinds of people. We invited the public defender's office, the prosecutor's office, we invited our behavioral health folks, and then on top of that, the court applied for a grant to have a little bit of seed money in case the recommendation comes through, and so that we can really hit the ground running to care for women and girls the way that we should.
Thank you very much. I wanted you on here because we're on by the way, we on YouTube television, so we wanted to make sure everybody knows.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
We have a very popular show that comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Well, I hope your ratings go up.
Yes, it goes up. The judge was on.
Well, thanks very much. And I'll tell you that, I'll hang around afterwards if there are questions about the court or about the docket that's been talked about today. I'll also be here, of course, the rest of the hearing if there are further questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again. Up next is our Health and Self-Identity Committee. Please welcome them.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. Commissioners, thank you for your time. Let me introduce our committee, the Health and Self-Identity Committee. Kelly Smith from Mount Notre Dame High School, Nora Zellen from Turpin High School, and Jayla Bradshaw from Princeton High School. I am Erin Elliott, Val Strunk, and Jill Miller. We focused on a few things during this time: employee mental health days, reimbursement rates for behavioral and mental health, and a partnership with JFS. I'm going to hand it off to Nora to go through those.
So first up is Employee Mental Health Days, and half of millennials said that they had left a job in part because of mental health in 2019. 30 to 50% of adults experience mental illness over their lifetimes, which results in more than $200 billion annually in healthcare utilization and lost work productivity. Within the workplace, mental health conditions result in days of work lost, a higher likelihood of working while impaired, and higher employee turnover. The U.S. Department of Labor released a study that said women need 24% of leave versus 17% that men need. And women only take 18% of that leave versus 14% that men take. Finally, a Harvard research concluded that on average, for every dollar spent on employee wellness, medical costs fall $3.27 and absenteeism drops $2.73. This is a 6-to-1 return on investment. Our second initiative is advocating for increased Medicaid reimbursement rates at a state level for behavioral and mental health services. Ohio has the 6th lowest Medicaid reimbursement rate in the country, making serving vulnerable youth unsustainable for many healthcare providers. A recent Government Accountability Office report revealed that mental health organizations cite inadequate compensation as a main reason for being unable to give individuals the care that they need. Even if an individual has insurance, they may not get the care they need because the providers are not being paid enough. Thank you. Jayla is now going to talk about a partnership with JFS.
Our last initiative was JFS support for youth mental health. Prioritizing youth mental health is critical to the wellness and vitality of the greater Hamilton community. Adolescents across the nation, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender, or socioeconomic background, are facing a mental health crisis due to high prevalence and worsening conditions across all genders, races, and ethnic groups. 1 in 6 youth experience a mental health disorder. Half of diagnosis for mental health becomes before age 14. All students are reporting higher rates and worsening feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Rates are higher for teenage girls, which is 60%, and LGBTQ, which is 70%. Teenage girls are facing worse crises in over a decade. So with that, we have 3 recommendations to the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners. Our first recommendation is that JFS explores opportunities to develop a private-public partnership to support the implementation of regional youth mental health strategy to improve the health and well-being of children in foster care. Our second recommendation is to advocate the state of Ohio legislature in partnership with local health representatives for increased Medicaid reimbursement for behavioral and mental health studies. Our third and final recommendation is to explore the provision of wellness days or paid leave days to all full and part-time Hamilton County employees to engage in self-care, manage stress, anxiety, or depression that they or their immediate family members are facing. Thank you.
I'm going to let you all read that, just to make sure, prove a point. No, want to make sure that you saw what that was. So thank you. So that concludes our formal presentation. I'd like to open it up for questions to our commissioners, and certainly guests, if you can come up to the microphone so that we can have you on video in any response to those questions. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Questions to the resolutions?
Correct. Oh, well, to the presentation, I guess.
Okay.
That's right.
I'll open it up. Vice President Driehaus.
I don't have any questions because I've been meeting with the group on every Saturday for quite some time. For one Saturday a month, I should say, not every Saturday. That would have been a lot. So I do want to say, though, that as you can all see, these were very well thought out, very smart, very strategic, very compassionate recommendations from these groups. And the entire commission is recommending all of the recommendations. We did take a vote, as we always do, to make sure that each member has a voice and can voice questions or concerns about anything. And so we've all voted unanimously to recommend all 4 of these as a
Didn't
group.
vote yet. We're getting ready.
I'm
about to say, we're getting ready to vote.
No.
We're excited to vote. I'm like, wait a minute.
No. I'm sorry, the Commission on Women and Girls. I should have come up with a different title for this. But regardless, there were many partners that were part of the work, and some of them have been identified or in the audience. I do want to expound just a little bit. There were schools involved here. HR specialists were involved. All the people that signed the Pay Equity Pledge were involved. We've got just a lot of nonprofits were consulted, and so there was quite a bit of research that went into the recommendations. Interviews were done to gain knowledge, and so I just do want to call out and thank some of the other partners that are both in the room and not in the room. The Women's Fund and Eloquate are always partners for the Commission on Women and Girls, so thank them from the very beginning for helping get us launched and started. So I just wanted to make sure that we were kind of rounding out some of the conversation related to the recommendations. But I have no questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you. Thank you all for your presentations. I want to acknowledge our staff that are here. We talked about agencies that are here. If you can just stand. Nobody wants to stand.
If you work for the county,
Okay,
stand
do you
up.
work for the county? Or do you want to work
I think
for the
payday is
county?
coming up. Is everybody else?
Do you want to work for the county? But anyway. Thank you so much. And so the point to all of that is the fact that your recommendations that you made cross over into all different departments and agencies, and so we need all of you to make it work. I love the specificity of the recommendations. As Commissioner Driehaus has said, really, you guys, you can see the work that has been done, and I think the recommendations are realistic. I'll be able to support those, and I just think, and I'm going to go back to this wellness days. I think through our offices about 1.5 years ago, we brought up to HR about looking at wellness days. We can't, I'm not saying that we're ignoring it, but with this climate, this environment, this world, we can't ignore what people are going through. And so that's one recommendation. I don't see anything in here that I cannot support, and I'm just so proud of you. I feel like I was there every Saturday.
Not every Saturday.
But,
Let me correct
thank you
that.
so much, because you did the work that we would have to do, and it's so well thought out. So thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I want to join in saying the work has been great. We've been able to implement a lot of the ideas that have come from the Women and Girls Commission. One thing that I do want to point out that I think is important, and I would like to see, by the way, we couldn't all be there on Saturday. We were against state law, so only one of us could come to a meeting at a time. But what I would like to point out in the future, I don't think it's enough about what our county is doing, because we're doing a lot of different things now. And I want to make sure that the opportunities are being able to be extended to the commission. And I think as we're going in, putting things together, some of the things that we are doing needs to be known and can also be improved upon if they know about it. And one of the things we're focusing on is getting rid of silos in our county. So you have, JFS is doing this and so is doing that. And we're trying to get away from it. So on the resolution 3, which I do support, but I think that I'd like to see, we created a brand new Office of Youth that we never had. And this initiative is dear to me, and all 3 of us support it. And just this week, just this Saturday, we had a youth employment event that was like no other. And we had 1,000 youth show up with their resumes ready, and we took applications, and we did physicals on site, so we took all the barriers off. And so I want to just make sure that when we're putting these things, some of the initiatives that make sense that the county is doing, I think incorporating that, because you guys may have some additional ideas that can help us. But I do want to acknowledge the work of the county and what we're doing. We've just put more money than ever before in additional ARPA money, $4.9 million. We've got new programs, Inspire and others that Commissioner Dumas has also led. And so I just want those woven in to the fabric as we are moving forward, because I think some of those initiatives are important. We do have for the first time ever, a paid internship program. We have a paid fellowship program. So I want to have those things woven into as we're moving forward, so that when we do our state of the youth or what have you, all of these resolutions and some of the results are also woven in. But we're working on doing a better job of getting our message out and getting it to the people. And this is an area I think that we could probably put a little more attention to. So that would be my recommendation. With that, I guess we're ready to vote.
Yes, so I'm going to read the resolutions by title only.
Okay.
So that we can vote on them one at a time. So the first one is, I move that we approve of the resolution directing the administration to further support pay equity in Hamilton County.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you. The second resolution I move that we approve of is the resolution supporting upward mobility and social and economic advancement through educational awareness and opportunity.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you. Thirdly, I make a motion to approve of the resolution supporting the adoption of a comprehensive approach to prevent girls from juvenile delinquency in Hamilton County.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Thank you. And finally, I move that we approve of the resolution supporting mental health in Hamilton County.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, I got an exciting motion. I move that we adjourn.
I'm going to add one more thing. So by way of process, for those that are not familiar, so the resolutions have been passed. A lot of things were directed to the administration. And so the next steps will be the administration reports back to the county commissioners as to how we can or cannot accomplish what was just presented to us. But the idea here is to move all of these forward with the recommendations, and we'll get a report from the administration within a month or two in response to the resolution. So again, thank you to everyone who has worked so hard on this. I'll second the motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.